Hey everyone, welcome back. I'll make a little video today. I've been having a little bit of an issue the past couple weeks, and I'm going to kind of show what the issue was and what I've been doing about it. Look at this guy. He's always got food on his mind. So the issue was my birds are all getting worse and worse as far as when I fly them. They were getting out of breath to the point where they would only fly for about 3 minutes, believe it or not. And they would land, their mouth would be wide open. It started with a few of them, and it eventually went to all of them. They were just totally winded when they land, and they will hold their wings out and gasping for air, some of them actually throwing up. And being a new pigeon flyer, I had no idea what was going on. So I talked to different people. I talked to the secretary of the race club that I'm going to be joining, and he mentioned a couple different things, adenovirus and something else, and he said shut them down, don't fly them for 2 weeks, and treat them all for respiratory. So I ordered the respiratory medicine, and when it came in, I just put it aside. I couldn't see them having that kind of a problem. So anyway, I talked to Greg at GVJ Lofts, and we kind of narrowed it down to having corn in the feed. By the way, Greg, extremely knowledgeable about pigeons. I mean, so he asked about the feed, and I said, yeah, I got a lot of corn in there. He says that's most likely a problem. Get rid of all the corn. It's too heavy for your birds. So I did that. So I got rid of the corn. I got a much lighter feed, and I cut down the amount of feed, because apparently them being out of breath all the time, it was something to do with them being overweight. And even these guys weren't flying much at all anymore, and it was such a shame. I thought all my birds had a serious issue, but fat birds is not the greatest thing. So this is what the feed looks like now after I took out all the corn and everything. It's just a real light mix for now. I don't know if you can see that too well. Come into light here. Yep, so it's just a real light mix. And then some of my other research said oregano helps with respiratory, which I don't think they had any respiratory. But what I did was I got this off of Amazon. It was very, very reasonably priced. I got 2 of these for, I forget now, but it was about the cheapest around. And what I'm doing is I'm soaking it in oil like that, and I put about a tablespoon per this container. I fill this up about, I guess it's about 2 pounds of food. I put about a tablespoon of this in there, mix it all in. The oil makes it stick, plus the oil, after a few days, it contains all the nutrients from the oregano. So even if they don't eat the oregano, they have all those nutrients anyway. And this is the oil that I use. I get that from Tractor Supply. So anyway, that's I do that, and then I put this is apple cider vinegar, and I put 15 cc's per gallon of that, So it's 1.5 of these per gallon, and I've been doing that for 2 weeks. And every few days I'll take about a half a teaspoon of that red cell, and I'll mix that right in the food too. That way you don't waste any of it by putting it in the water. So I did all that, and happy to say my birds are back on the wing. Day before yesterday, my black eagles and the Meulemans, the black eagles flew for an hour and 10 minutes, and they landed. Nobody's mouth was open, nobody looked tired, and I think the Meulemans got lost because they came home 4 hours later, and they did look tired, but they didn't have their mouth wide open. So after 2 weeks of treating them and cutting down on their weight a little bit, I'd have to. Oh, and then yesterday I flew them, and they flew for 45 minutes all together. They all came back together. They ranged almost the entire time, and so they're good to go. I'm just going to keep up. I'm not going to do the oregano every day, probably maybe twice a week now. And I'm going to stay away from the corn for now. I understand towards the winter it's a good idea to put corn in, but it's not that cold yet. And yesterday was the first time I let the white birds out, and I figured, you know, they hadn't flown for so long, they probably just go around for a few minutes. To my surprise, they flew for 25 minutes. There was a hawk that came through, and I think it got their adrenaline going, but they flew for 25 minutes and they landed. Nobody looked tired. Nobody had their wings out. Nobody breathing hard. And the moment they landed, they were running around. Before, they were just sitting there like bricks, you know, with all kinds of trouble. But yeah, I couldn't be happier. And I didn't have to use antibiotics or treat them with respiratory medicine, because that wasn't a problem. I just had fat birds. You know, just too much feed, just being too kind to them. And it was the worst thing for them. Anybody who watches my videos knows I've been having trouble with regulating the feed for a long time. And I think I really took a step in the right direction now. Feeding them a lot less and a lot lighter diet, and a little bit of oregano and apple cider vinegar in the water, and they're good to go. I only expect things to get better. So thank you, Greg, for talking to me and helping me diagnose this problem here. And I believe it was that heavy mix. So also another thing that I've been doing, I cut all these trees down. The wood line used to come right up to behind this pile of lumber, and I've been cutting the trees back. I probably cut 40 or 50 trees. You see how that's all wide open now? What I'm trying to do is give the hawks a disadvantage, because they like to ambush my pigeons when I let them out. So this will give my birds a heads up. They'll be able to see the hawks a little bit better. And hopefully it helps. I think it has helped already. Yeah, so it's kind of a lousy morning. It's supposed to clear up today around 1 o'clock. So I'll let the birds out and see what they do today. Come on, guys. I don't expect they'll stick around too long. It's just going to be an up and out situation. So that's about it. They're off ranging, and I'll film them when they get back. See how long it takes. They all went in really fast today. So that was only 10 minutes, so it really wasn't a good example of what I was trying to show, but you can see that they're not out of breath whatsoever, and they're really energetic now. So I'll let the white birds out. And I just got these guys out. They've been out for about 2 minutes, so we'll see how they do today. I don't expect them to go too far. They never usually do. Unless a hawk comes through or something, they usually stay right above. Because there's a lot of older birds. Wow, look how fast they're going. The speed they're traveling, I don't even think a hawk could bother with them today. Wow, look at these birds. I think I must have slipped some jet fuel into their mix there. I don't know how happy I am to see them go like that now, after what they looked like a couple weeks ago. Look at them go, my goodness. Nothing wrong with those birds. Crows are very curious what's going on with those pigeons. And there's a hawk up there that just came. It's too bad I wasn't filming because it was a pretty good attack, and all the birds took off now. I don't mind when the hawks come through, but when they come and land in the trees and wait for the birds to come back, that's what really bothers me, and that's the reason why I cut down so many trees, because the birds will leave for half an hour and they'll come back, and they're getting more and more tired, and the hawk ambushes them every time they come in, and you know, after about an hour and a half of that, you know, they're getting exhausted. So I keep an eye out for the hawks and see if I can scare them away myself. A lot of times if they see me, they're all done. They just take off. Oh, there's one stray pigeon. That one actually is my worst flyer, and no matter what happens, he sticks around and he'll actually land. Like pretty soon he'll just land and wait for all the others to come back. But yeah, I think yeah, there's the flock right there. They're still cruising around top speed. But they've been up for about 20 minutes now, so it's not too bad. You know, all in all, I think the hawks have done me more good than harm. I lost maybe 3 or 4 birds in the past year to hawks, but they really help out with the training, I'm telling you. Nothing gets pigeons flying like a hawk. So there you go. 35 minutes today, and 25 minutes yesterday, and you can see that none of them have their mouth open. Everyone's pretty much moving around still. They're not acting like with their holding their wings open and out of breath and all that kind of stuff. So they go on the inside and put their food in there. They look great. They're doing great. So that's the mix right there. It's got 1/6 barley and 1/6 wheat, and the rest is just a racing pigeon mix without corn. Oh, and I put some pellets in there too, some high protein pellets. But that's it. Everybody's looking good. Very happy with these birds now. This guy can't be that hungry. And that's the thing too, I'm not really starving them. You can tell by the way they're acting. They're not overly hungry. But with the barley in there and the lack of corn, it's not holding them back. So they have plenty of energy, plus that oil. That oil that I put on there is pure energy for these guys. So yeah, nobody's starving, that's for sure. Except for this guy, he always acts like he's hungry. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you like the video, and please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.